Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Inspired podcast. It could be the morning, could be the evening, could be whatever time of day you want to be watching or listening. If you're listening live on Spotify, I say live, but if you're listening on Spotify, hello, this is my voice. And we've also got the beautiful voice of Paige.
Hello.
So I'm not going to tell people what your title is. So Paige, tell us who you are and what you're doing.
Okay, so my name's Paige and I am the current International Junior Miss UK. I won that title in February of this year and I will be flying out to Texas to compete in the International Junior Miss competition. When that's going to be, I don't know. At the minute, it's meant to be June, so I'm still prepping and getting ready for that.
So yeah, I was very lucky to be there when Paige was crowned. It was a very emotional night for me because I competed with your sister, Aston, who is an amazing girl herself, and we were sitting there cheering you on from the crowd, and it was a beautiful moment to be able to see you crowned. And we're both going to be heading off to Texas. Mine has now been moved to August, and maybe yours will be moved to who knows. But I do hope you get to go out to your internationals and have a whale of a time. So let's talk a little bit about you as a child and you growing up. Obviously, some people wouldn't. It's not something that you would normally think a child would have to go through. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I was brought up just by my mum. My mum was a single mum, but unfortunately she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So she got diagnosed in between having me and my sister, but they said you probably had it for about 10 years. So all of a sudden she's got two little screaming kids and this new diagnosis for her. So yeah, my childhood, I had to grow up a lot quicker really than everyone else because my mum couldn't look after me. I had to look after her. Although she was able to in certain parts, there's the little things, one of the things I always say to people is I used to do my own washing when I was about 11 years old, which doesn't, to me, I'm like, that doesn't seem young, but it actually is. So yeah, I just had to really grow up a lot quicker so that I could care for my mum and help her and just make it easier for her. Being a single mum is difficult enough as it is. And then to have your mobility taken away whilst doing that, it was really hard for her. And me and my sister knew that. I think we're very lucky that we had each other because we could help each other out and we were always there for each other, whatever it was just, we worked it out, I think is the best way to put it, because there isn't any other way. Like, I feel bad when you say, I didn't have a choice, but you didn't, but that's not a bad thing. Like, I had the best childhood and I think it taught me so much. One of the things it taught me is like confidence, because when I was young, I had to figure things out because maybe my mum couldn't help me or she couldn't be there for me and I had to do it. So this sort of was where pageantry came in as well, really, because I was like, oh, that looks really fun. I really want to do that. And then my mum was just like, go do it. And because I felt brave in myself because I'd done so much for myself, when it came to pageantry, like I went in and was like, okay, hi, like, what is this? And just really and pageantry just made me grow even more. A lot of people say to me at work and things like that, they're like, I thought you were a lot older than you are. And I'm always like, yeah, well, when you have to grow up when you're younger, it just kind of keeps going. You don't really get to 18 and then just stop, you keep maturing. So yeah, it was different being a young carer, and not many people realise because I still went to school, I still went out with my friends, not everyone realises what goes on behind closed doors. So yeah, that was my childhood really. But I loved it.
This story is something that I can personally really relate to myself. My grandma was not a well woman up until the day she unfortunately passed away, and I was caring for her as a paid carer since I was about 14, 16-ish. I can't remember the exact date, but she's in for as long as I've been a kind of like a teenager, she's been ill, and I've been caring for her. And even as a child, things that we were doing, it was always for the benefit of her, and she got less and less mobile as I kind of got older, and I matured really quickly. And the same things that you've said, the people being like, you actually seem really mature for your age. I'm like, well, I had to grow up really quickly, and I had to learn how to kind of. My mum went out to work when I was a baby because my grandma couldn't work, so
Yeah.
it was like our family is a very odd circumstance, but you just do need to learn to grow up really quickly, and it's
things like cooking, cleaning, do your washing, like simple things. Like by the age of 13, I knew what could be washed with what and what couldn't. And do you know what? I never realised how prominent it was until I went to uni. And my mum has always been like, nope, you're having a normal life. And I was really lucky that my grandma and granddad helped. So we got to go and move into halls and live the uni life. And then I got there and I remember someone being like, can I put this in at like 60? And I was like, what? And I remember being like, doing? And they were like, what? And I was like telling them, like, you got to do this, you got to do this. And they were like, oh, how do you know that? And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, most people, their families.
For people,
yeah.
So you have had the amazing opportunity of being a pageant girl and, you know, winning your title. Like me, it's a really great, it gives you an amazing platform to actually talk about these things. And part of my platform is talking about mental health and talking about people's inspiring stories, which is why I created this podcast. And to have somebody like you which your platform is really important, because a lot of girls' platforms in pageantry is mental health, and that's okay. It's okay to have a platform that's mental health. My platform personally is mental health, so there's nothing wrong with it, but yours is a little bit different, and I want you to tell us why it's a little bit different.
So when I was really younger, I used to, basically when I was about 6 or 7, I used to faint like every day and no one could figure out why. And then it got to the point where I used to cry because I didn't want to go into the school hall, right? I was like, no, because that's where I always fainted. And I was terrified. And then I got older and it just went away. And then when I was about 16, I really started to develop this horrendous anxiety. And I'm talking, I couldn't leave the house. I used to have panic attacks like when I opened the front door and it was colder than I thought. Like, you know, I used to have everything. I was having these panic attacks, like really quite severe. I couldn't sleep. I was losing weight. I couldn't eat certain foods because I was just full of this, like adrenaline. That's what a lot of anxiety is. And I went to my doctors and he said, you know, they can give you all these, everything with wonderful pills that can get rid of it. But ultimately, he said, you need to address where it's coming from. And a lot of anxiety is to do with your brain and how your brain is functioning with things. So, for example, he's like, your brain right now thinks you're trying to run away from a tiger and you're just trying to open the door. And I was like, oh. So I went and had hypnotherapy. And this was the most amazing therapy I've ever had, because she just kind of like picked at your brain and you figured out why you felt the way you felt. And it's weird. She said yours goes all the way back to when you were a kid and you were fainting because you didn't know why. You associated the hall with that feeling and you associated getting hot with that feeling. So now that you're 16 and you get hot, that's when you have your panic attacks. And I was like, boom, mind blown. So I was like, right, okay. And then she was saying, you know, so many people experience it. And I was like, oh, okay, I think I'm the only one. I think I'm a bit odd, but okay, I'll take your word for it. And then I was talking to one of my friends one day and they said, oh yeah, I've had that, like a really horrible gut, literally described the same thing as me, horrible gut feeling, hot flush, like not being able to breathe. And I was like, hold on a second, wait, what? And then I talked to someone at work, yeah, I've had that. And then you just find all these people, they've all had it. And I'm like, why are we not talking about this? Why are people so ashamed of this if everyone has it? I was like, if you've got a stuffy nose, you're willing to tell me about that. I was like, why don't you talk about this? So from that point onwards, like, I was like, no, I'm going to normalise this. I want mental health to just be a normal conversation. You know, if you met someone in the street, you know, they're like, how you feeling? Yeah, well, do you know, I've had a bit of a rough time, but I'm okay. And I want people to be brave enough to say that. And for people to be brave enough to take that response and be like, yeah, well, if you need me, come round, cup of tea, kettle's on. And as a pageant girl, especially as a Miss contestant, because you have all of the younger contestants up, like sort of looking up to you, I thought, I want to use my platform to show these young girls and these young people that what you're feeling is normal and what you're going through is normal. You know, a lot of them get it in school because school is stressful. Like, you know, expect you to know what you want to do with your life at the age of 14. No one knows that. Such an unrealistic.
I'm 19 and I still don't know what I want to do with my life, let's be honest.
Yeah. And that for me was just where I was like, no, my platform is to normalize this. And so that people just have that confidence to, even if they're just ringing up the best friend going, do you know what? This is how I feel. Because I found the more you speak about how you feel with your anxiety and any other mental health you're going through, it actually gets better because it's sitting in your brain. And then the minute you talk about it, it's all come out. And so your brain's like, okay, cool, I'll process it now. Like, let's go get something to eat.
Yeah, and that is why I love psychology and I love the brain. It's a really fantastic machine, and you know it's catharsis to talk about it. As soon as you talk about something and you actually get it out of your system, it's like it's the same as, you know, anger. Once you get the anger out of your system, you feel fine.
Yeah.
And it's the same with anxiety. It's the same with not so much depression, but if you're feeling sad and you address those sad feelings, you actually start to feel a bit more of a pick-me-up. And that is really important. And I think that having friends around you that you associate with and that you are able to freely talk with is really, really important. And like you said, like if you're able to tell me that you've got a blocked nose, why can't you just tell me that you're feeling a little bit down today, or you're feeling a bit worried about this, or you're feeling a bit worried about that? And the more people do that, the more it will be just a normal day-to-day thing, like the weather, like how you take your dog for a walk, like you know what you've bought off, you know, your shopping, like whatever. You just need, it's just something that needs to be openly talked about, and that's really, really fantastic. And I applaud you for being able to be strong enough to actually come out and say that and want to talk about those things. It's really amazing.
Yeah, well, I think for me as well, because when I was going through it, I was so scared, like I was terrified, because I thought, something wrong with you, kid. Like, you're losing your marbles. You're not, like, absolutely not at all. And I just didn't want anyone else to feel the way I felt. You know, I have had people approach me and they're like, you know, they'll message me on Facebook, like, can I just speak to you? And I'm like, yes, every minute of every day. In fact, I work nights, so sometimes it is every minute of every day. So, and sometimes that one conversation can completely change so much for that other person. You know, quite a lot of things people get when they're going to interviews, like normal job interviews, and then you can build it up in your head and you're in such a kerfuffle in your own brain that sometimes just having this discussion with someone can just calm it straight down, and then you'll perform so much better. So that for me was just really what I wanted to do with my title. And, you know, a lot of people associate with anxiety of you don't go out, you don't leave your house, like you don't do nothing. And then I'm here like, well, I went on a stage in front of loads of people. So, you know.
Anxiety comes in a lot of different forms. You know, some people just have anxiety about, you know, being able to talk to people, but they're fine to, you know, get up on a stage and perform. Like I know fantastic physical, like actors and performers that are frightened to ask the chip shop man for a packet of chips, or for you know, their fish and chips. But I also know people that, you know, are openly confident about talking on the phone. They wouldn't get up on a stage in their damn life. So it does affect people in different ways. And, you know, people have anxieties about spiders. So like that's where phobias come from. And it's a really, really, like it affects everybody differently. And, you know, mental health for me, it has been something that I needed to talk about, because I can't bottle up my feelings. If I bottle things up, it starts to just rise and rise and rise, and then I don't really know what to do with myself. And to be able to, you know, I'm really lucky that I'm really close with my mum, and my mum is really open about her mental health struggles with me and with most people. So to have somebody to talk about, not everybody can be as open with their mum, and I understand that. Some people have a sister, some people just have their best friend, and my best friend is amazing. I literally offload everything on her, so I apologise daily to her. I'm like, I'm so sorry, I'm offloading you with all of my problems, but I have to do it. And she's like, it's fine, don't worry about it, like it's completely fine. It's what best friends, she's seen me at my best of times, she's seen me at my worst of times, so, you know, I wouldn't change anything for having her around. I do just kind of want to talk about what you're doing at the moment with work, because we're currently in lockdown and you are one of the few that are out there risking your life, pretty much out there still trying to make the world run. And I can't thank you enough for doing that from the bottom of my heart, because what I do is really minuscule. I make coffee for people, and you know, it's a great job. I love my job. It's fantastic, but I'm not about to go out and get a coffee and maybe die from making a coffee for somebody. So you being able to go out there and still, you know, just still work is just really, really awesome. And you know, hats off to you for being able to do that. So thank you. And you can talk about that if you want to. Like,
yeah, well, I think so. I work at the Port of Dover, and I work for a shipping company. So a lot of our trade is what we call freight trade. So it's all of your goods coming in and out of the country, and obviously we couldn't just stop. You guys still need food. You need medicines. A lot of the PPEs coming through us as well. You know, these things can't just stop. And also, we had a lot of people who were in England, you know, studying, who needed to go home, and none of the planes are flying. So that was the only way that they could go through. So, yeah, we're really mostly business as usual, to be honest, except the tourist traffic is obviously only, you know, if you need to go. It's not like people who are like, oh, I'm off on a trip to Cali for the day. No, go back home. So, yeah, it's been strange because everything about our job has had to change in terms of we have a lot of close interaction with customers. You know, a lot of it is face to face, so we've had to restrict that face to face interaction with them. You know, we've got our gloves and our PPE and stuff like that. We have a little booth that we sit in. So we have to like close the window, and we're always like, we're really sorry, we're not being rude. Just shut the window on you. And yeah, they've done everything they can to protect us, because they know that we can't stop. We still need to keep going and get everyone everything they need. So yeah, I don't really know what to say about it, really. It's just, I go to work, I do what I do, and I come home, and I'll spray myself with Dettol when I get back in the house.
and you know, the people that are out there working, the people in the shops, the people in everyday work, the people in the hospitals, in just the doctor's surgeries, you know, life can't stop for you, work can't stop for you. And to be able to be strong enough to just keep going, and even if you're not actually physically strong enough, you just need to know that actually if what I do stops, it's going to impact a lot more people than I think it will. And there are a lot of people out there that I think would be really afraid right now to be going into work.
I think when it sounds really cheesy, but we are like all in it together because every single person on your shift has to come into work. Every single person on your shift has to meet face to face with people. I mean, we've put barriers up to protect ourselves. So we've been like buddied up so that, you know, we're with the same people most of the time, which is kind of sad because I miss some people in my shift that I don't get to see. But ultimately, if I got it, I don't want them to get it. So if I was to get it, it's only 2 people out of the 19 people that I work with. And we have 4 shifts. So as you can imagine, we're really segregating it down. They've given us all the cleaning products we need, you know, all the gloves that we need. It was really difficult for them to get hold of at first. A lot of us were having to bring in our own stuff, but we all just kind of knew, like, at the minute, like, it's a bit rubbish, like, just pull together. And we did, to be honest. And everyone has been really, really open, actually, on my shift. Like, I've spoken with some of my colleagues, and I'm like, you know, how are you feeling? And they're so totally open and candid with it, because I think in this situation, just all kind of known, like, do you know what? Everyone I know is going to feel the way I'm feeling, and you're going to say the same thing as what I'm about to say. And them little conversations are just making everyone feel a bit better, you know, and helping us get through the day and helping us get over them anxieties and things like that. I know a lot of people obviously have kids as well, so they're a bit worried to take it home to their kids. But we've been giving each other tips. Like, I'll be like, you know, you get in the house, you strip everything off, and then you get straight in the shower. And they're like, oh yeah, I've got a basket, so all my work stuff goes in the basket. Like, little things like that. We've just been sharing our tips and tricks to keep everyone safe as much as we can. And touch wood, we've all been safe so far, which I'm really grateful for, because I work with some fantastic people. A couple of people are off who are particularly vulnerable, but that's understandable. I'm still at work, but I moved out of my grandma's house because obviously she's vulnerable, and didn't want to give it to her, and I knew my work still needed me. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't just be like, hey, leave you to it.
Protect the ones you love, and people are out there trying their hardest to protect the vulnerable and protect the people that need to be protected. I mean, I live in a community where there are a lot of elderly people, and the measures that my local supermarkets, for example, have put into place just to protect those vulnerable people is absolutely fantastic, and they're doing a fantastic job out there. They're still working their hardest, and I only wish that my job would still be able to do the same. I love my job. I think that once non-essential shops are able to reopen again, I would be first out there saying to a boss, look, I'd love to be out there, because there are people that, especially going kind of back to mental health, the ability for a lot of the elderly, they're living on their own, and they just want to go out and have a chat with somebody. I have one regular lady, she's about 92, and she's really mobile, really, really lovely, and she comes in every day and asks for a coffee, and just that interaction for her, I know, is so important, and it gets her out of the house, keeps her moving, and there are loads and loads of people like that in my community that just want to go out and have a chat. So although we're not an essential shop, we're actually quite essential for the community, because we're out there helping people mentally. And there are A-levels. I mean, I know they're cancelled, but the A-level students will always be in there on their laptops, revising for their A-levels, revising for the GCSEs. And I know I was one of them when I said to my boss, I was like, right, I'm utilising my workspace because you have free Wi-Fi. So I'll be in there, I'll be doing my work. But it is...
Yeah, them places, like, so some people might go, oh, it's just a coffee shop, and you're like, actually, do you know what goes down in a coffee shop? Like, there's the worst, there's the best, like, things that happen in the coffee shops. You learn your A-levels in your coffee shop, you learn your university degree in your coffee shop, you plan your wedding in a coffee shop, like, all of these things. And I think for some people, that's what they're struggling with at the minute, because that social aspect has been taken away. Which I think is why it's so important as well to talk about mental health right now, because everyone is struggling in different ways. I know I've seen a lot online of some people being like, oh, people moaning about this, people moaning about that. And I just think to myself, like, everything is different for each individual person. So although you might read it and go, I don't know why you're feeling like that, it doesn't matter. Like, they feel like that. They have the right to feel like that. Don't be mean. Just be like, okay, you feel like that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not, everybody experiences things differently, and everybody copes differently with this. Is a really, really stressful situation for a lot of people. I know that there are people at home that are potentially in quite a toxic environment, or children at home that are going to be in a toxic environment, and they have a right to say, I don't want to be here right now, I'd rather be outside. I'd rather go out for a 4-hour walk than be inside of my house. And if they're not hurting anybody, if they're not coming into contact with people, they're not hurting anybody. If they decide they want to go off in the fields and have a walk and not come in contact with anybody, who am I to say you shouldn't be able to do that? I mean, if I was at my hay fever at the moment is going up and down with the change of it going hot to cold, and they keep cutting the grass, so I'll be like streaming. And if I could go outside and have a walk without my eyes streaming, I'd love to be able to do that. But people need to, I think, be a little bit more sensitive to the way people are coping, because some people cope, and unfortunately they cope on Facebook and they post their feelings on Facebook, and you just need to kind of accept that at this point, because that might be their outlet. They might not have anybody to talk to. That might be the way that they're expressing their feelings, unfortunately.
Their only way to sort of get them feelings out into the world. And I know sometimes you might think, really, but just scroll past, like, just let them have their minute. Some people are, the only way to get it out is by going for a walk. Some people have redecorated their whole house because that's the only way that they've been able to do it.
My room has gone upside down, I'm not gonna lie to you.
And I've seen some people like, why are you going out to the shop to get paint? Like, isn't that dangerous? And I'm like, no, because actually it's helping them cope. COVID this is one of the most scariest times that we've been through, and for our generation. And I just think, we really need to just come together in this, because we want to be, all of us, coming out the other side of it. and being able to grow from it, because there is that risk that after it, everyone's going to be like, you know, oh, I don't want to go outside now. I'm too scared to go outside now. So helping them through it during that time, if that's painting, you paint your fence. I don't mind. Then just be supportive of that, you know?
There definitely needs to be a lot more positivity just everywhere. I know one of my close friends, Alicia, has started a campaign where she wants people to talk about the positive things that they've been doing while in isolation and while in lockdown. And, you know, I've completely redecorated my room. I've picked up a love of baking. It's not good for my weight. However, it is really fun. I love baking and I love being able to, it's a way to express my creativity, because I can make the icing blue, I can make the icing pink, I can throw whatever I want into it and I can just eat it and feel all right about it. And, you know, my mum's enjoying the cakes I've been making. My stepdad's been enjoying the I've baked croissants earlier. It was great. And
but every time you wake up, they're like, what are you doing today?
Yeah, literally, don't even joke about it. My mum's like, so when are you baking next? When am I getting a cake? And it is just that it's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the little things. I mean, I know I've got big things to look forward to. I know that I've got internationals in August. Pray that we're able to fly, and pray that unis are able to restart. I'll be going back to uni in September, and they're two things in the long term I'm looking forward to. But in the short term, it's little baby steps. It's, oh, I've accomplished this in the house today. Oh, I've made this today. I've done this. And I think that the internet is a fantastic thing because it's keeping us all connected. Things like this, where, you know, we may be hundreds of miles away and we're still able to talk freely and openly to each other. Or I had one of my really close friends from school earlier, I spoke to, and she lives around the corner, but we're still able to talk in the same way. And it's a really, really great thing to just be able to talk to people. And there are apps that you can download. There's House Party. I hope I don't get taken down for this, but you know, Facebook Messenger, Zoom, Skype, all of these platforms where you can just talk to people and you don't have to see them, because going out and seeing people is the worst thing you can do right now. Like, I know that there are people out there that, you know, they're saying, oh, I'm keeping the distance, but if it's not essential, you don't need to do it. I know that there are people, I know that you've been out to see your nan, and that to you is essential, because
she has not left her house in 7 weeks.
Exactly. But
because I was like, you ain't going to the shop, so this bread, I'm bringing it to your door.
Exactly. What you're doing is providing her an essential part of living. You're providing her food, but going out to walk the dog and going to see your mate in the process, that if you're gonna spread it, even if you don't have, there are so many people who, I mean, I guess are passively carrying this. I know that the reason that my grandma unfortunately passed away is due to a passive carrier, because I stopped going to see her because we self-isolated as a family, and in the time that we self-isolated, she contracted it and unfortunately passed away. So there is passive carriers out there, and I'm really lucky that I was able to see her and I was able to talk to her, and I'm really lucky that my granddad's still around. I'm happy that my family are safe, but what has just happened, and I can't get my words out. Carers are now, like, an essential key workers are now able to get tested to see if they're carrying it, which I think is amazing. And the families of the key workers are able to go and get tested. So, you know, if you can get tested, please go and do it. If you're one of those eligible few, please go and do it, because you could be protecting somebody, or you could actually be really harming people. You know, the passive carriers are out there in the shops with their trolleys, but you're actually coming into contact with more people than you think.
My mum has carers, and they come in, and I've got to give them their due. Them carers are amazing. They have like a schedule. They're like, take her to one room, change gloves. Take her to another room, change gloves. Like, they're segregating it room to room. And I think it's really important that they have that opportunity as well, because, you know, my mum hasn't left the house in 7 weeks. Like, we always say to her, like, well, you're not going to be running anywhere. She's like, no, I'm not. But they still care for people who may have gone out of the side, or they may have had their family come round and do something, and this, that, and the other. So it's so important that they have that protection of being able to get tested, because they're going in and out of people's houses and they don't know who else is going in and out of that house.
It is very true. And as much as COVID is a very interesting topic that I could talk about for hours, it's really down. It's like quite upsetting and quite harsh on the heart for some people, and it does touch a lot of people. So let's bring it to a little bit of a happier topic. I know that you have recently become engaged, which is amazing. So congratulations again. I mean, it happened all around the same time, you getting your title and becoming engaged. So I know that COVID is putting a bit of a damper on wedding planning, I assume. I've never been engaged, nor do I know what it's like to plan a wedding. So no, absolutely no idea. But I have a lot of people that are really, it's the whole thing is taking a toll on them.
Yeah.
People are having to push back weddings. But what are you doing in prep for internationals, in prep for becoming a married woman? What is going on in your head?
So much. Because I got engaged on the Friday as I went to the pageant on the Saturday and competed on the Sunday. So it was so funny because to be fair, I've kind of got to thank Jordan because I was literally on cloud nine. That I wasn't stressed. I was just like, yeah, this is great. Look at my thing. Woo. So when it actually came to the pageant, I was just so not nervous because I was so still on cloud nine. So got to thank him for that. He did help me a lot. But yeah, I think, I don't get married for another 2 years. Like a lot of wedding planning is like years ahead. And I'm very fortunate that it is in 2 years' time. So I've done little bits and bobs because obviously a lot of things are getting moved. A lot of brides are having to go to next year and vice versa. So I've been doing little bits and bobs, but for me, I've really been focusing on my pageant because that is a lot sooner. And I just really wanted, because as well, I'm 23 and the cut-off year for IJM is 24. It's the last year that you can compete. So I know I'm sort of in the last year that I can compete. So I just want to make it the absolute best that it can be. So I've been doing all my prep, getting all my outfits. I'm wearing outfits that make me feel good, that I love. And I've just been the best way I can explain it is I've just been taking the chilled approach because I don't want to stress myself out because I want to have fun. I want to enjoy this and I want to remember it. And I want to go to the competition in the best place that I am, Definitely. So yeah, at the minute obviously we can't do any appearances outside, but I've been doing a lot on my Instagram page. I've been doing a lot of online appearances, like sharing the ones that the girls are doing, joining in with them. We've been doing some TikToks, which have been hilarious. I've only just discovered what TikTok is. I'm very bad at it.
Oh, it's a great little app. It's taken over a lot of people's lives right now.
So addictive. Do you know what? The first time I found out about it, our little Lois came up to me and she was like, Paige, do you have TikTok? And I was like, yes, about 8 o'clock. And she looked at me and I looked at her and I was like,
you didn't mean the time, did you?
Yeah. And then I was like, what, Lois? And she was like, and I was like, thought you were just saying a really cute name asking time. I was like, oh my God, right, okay, Nana needs to be taught this. What is it, Lois? And she was showing me. And yeah, oh my God, it's been so funny. I keep doing them with my dog. They've been so entertaining. I've loved it. But yeah, that's just what I'm doing really. Just taking it a day at a time, enjoying the process. I always think like when you win a pageant and you win a national pageant, you never know. That could be the only time you ever do it, Yeah. Like, will I ever win a national one? Will I ever do it again? Who knows? So I just want to soak up every single bit that I do and make the most of it. I know obviously I don't know when my internationals are going to be, but I'm just planning like it is going to be in June. So I've got all my outfits sorted. I'm putting the lookbook together, practicing my interview here and there, which is a bit awkward when there's 5 of you in the house and you're talking to yourself and you see someone and you're like, yeah. Like, you're right. You're like, yeah, just,
My family are well used to me sounding like I'm talking to myself because I do a lot of these podcasts through my headphones so that I can hear people properly. And I know that my family are walking up and down past my room. They're like, she's just talking to herself, I think. I think she might just be talking to herself, going slowly a little bit crazy. It's really getting to me. So just as a final kind of question, I don't know a lot about the IJM system. I've watched it kind of from a distance. It's never been, obviously it's brand new to the UK. You are the first Miss Queen, which is amazing. It gives the next girl really big shoes to fill. What is internationals like? What does that look like for you? What type of rounds do you have? Like, how long is it? Like, what? I want to know a bit more about internationals.
So International Junior Miss is an American brand pageant, and it's all about empowering young women and supporting young women and sisterhood. So it's really just one big crazy family is the best way I can describe it. All the Miss contestants have this big group chat, and it's amazing. It's so lovely to have. You know, we're all from different places in the world as well, so everyone's replying at different times, but we seem to keep the conversation flowing. So, which is really nice. I love that. And once you get there, I don't know the full schedule yet because we haven't been given it, but it's about a week long. You have your registration, and then you have what's called orientation pep rally. So it's their orientation, but it's in the theme of a pep rally.
Oh, I love that.
So I was like, what is this all about? So obviously I YouTubed it and I Googled it, and I was like, right, let's see what this is about. And some of the photos look amazing. So everyone has these big boards that light up. Girls have got matching outfits, got foam fingers. It is the best way I can describe it is like American football game. That is what it is. And I was like, this looks really fun. So I'm really excited for that. We then have, you used to have a PJ party carnival night, but they've now split it. So you have your PJ party, and then you also have a carnival themed like night, but they're calling it the Coachella one this year. So we've got to go in a Coachella themed outfit. And I was really tempted to wear a rain mac, but I didn't think they'd understand the funny side of it. I was like, always rains at festivals in England, but I was like, no, I'm not going to explain that to them. So that's really good. I'm excited for that. I need to plan that outfit. That's the only one I haven't got. And you then have what's called an optional day. So they have a list of activities which you can choose from, and then each girls will go off and do their activities for that morning or afternoon, whichever one you choose. And it depends. I know this year there's a water park, an escape room, and indoor skydiving or something. I think that was it. I'm sure. Yeah. But we haven't chosen ours yet. I think a lot of the girls are looking forward to the water park. That looked really fun. But it's just time for us to just chill, have some fun, and just get to know the girls a little bit more. You then have your interview, and the interview is what's called Rockin' Robin. So you have a one-on-one interview with one judge. There's 5 judges in total, so you'll talk to one judge. I think it's for a minute at internationals, but we have 2 at the UK. And then an alarm will go off and you'll just move to the next person. So you just get to talk one-on-one, which I actually really loved and found it a lot easier. It was a lot more personal, I found. Sometimes with panel judges, you're like, have I spoken to them enough? You also have your rehearsals, and they are all themed. They have an 80s themed, which I was like, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Down for this. Can't wait. A Sherry Hill themed one, because Sherry Hill sponsors them, so you get a t-shirt, and we have that. And then I don't know what the last one is. I think that might just be you come like in whatever you like. And then you have the prelims, and then you have the final show. And then they have optionals, but there is a lot of optionals.
That is a whole week of just pageant fun, and I'm actually kind of jealous.
It's literally like a
water park. I've heard now that I've heard water park, I'm going to be messaging Jan like, when can we go to a water park? When we go to Texas, because I want water park included, please. But
well, I've spoken to a lot of the girls, and all of them are just like, the best way I can describe it, I'm like, yeah, they're like, is, do you know when you jump into a ball pit? And I'm like, yeah, and they're just like, you're like, whoa, and then you come out the other side. I'm like, yeah, she's like, that's what happens. I'm like, what? They're like, it's just a crazy 7 days of like pageant, and then all of a sudden it's over. And I was like, I don't want it to be over. It's not even started yet.
It's like this forever, please.
Yeah, but they said it's absolutely amazing. You know, you just do so much, but you're not doing too much. Do you know what I mean? They're like the memories that they have, because a lot of the girls come back to recompete. And I've been asking them, you know, I was like, I'm a newbie, what is it? And they've just said, like, the memories that you make and how much fun you have. They're like, at the end of the week, you don't actually really care if you place or not, because what you've just experienced with the girls and the friendships that you make, they're like, it's next to nothing.
And I think that's the way pageants should be. Having friends from all across the world, all across the UK for us UK girls, it's really cool because you get to meet people from different backgrounds and different walks of life, and they all have their own story, and that's really really amazing. So let's bring it down to a close because I've realised we've actually been talking now for 40 minutes, and this has been it's supposed to be a short episode, and you've actually just got a full one for yourself. But we've been talking about some really amazing things, and it's been a real pleasure to actually have you on the podcast.
Right on the podcast.
Literally, I'm just going to call this one "Paige talks about her life for 40 minutes," and that is essentially what it is. And
everyone will read that and go, "Yeah, that's Paige." Like, I don't. I'm always that person. Like, when we get new people at work, they're always like, "Paige, you've got a new person at work." I'm like, okay, I'm going. I'll be like,
I could talk for Britain, and I genuinely think I could talk for hours about any topic you give me. That is pageant life. So if there is anywhere that people wanted to reach out to you and be able to talk openly about mental health, like your platform, where would they be able to find you?
So I've got an Instagram page and a Facebook page. It is IJM UK Miss. And you can just message me on that, either platform. I will see it. I will reach it. I've got all my notifications on. And yeah, I'm more than happy to sit there. You can FaceTime me and we can talk for 4 hours straight. I don't mind. Got biscuits.
I'll be linking all of Paige's places to go and contact her down below. Same with mine. If you do want to contact me about either being on the podcast or you just want somebody to chat to, I am there to chat. I chat for hours. And honestly, I'm stuck at home doing nothing because I have been furloughed. So, enjoy this time while you can. Enjoy my time while you can. Paige, thank you so much for coming on today and for sharing your time with me and just being able to talk really openly and candidly and, just being so awesome. And I wish you the best of luck, if I could actually get my words out, for international. And when it comes, make the most of it and take every moment as gold. Thank you guys all so much for listening today, and I hope you've enjoyed this really really long episode. It's a little treat for you guys. I will see you all in the next one. Peace, love and positivity, and I will see you all soon. Bye.